All right, welcome. We're on fail time video 4, attempt just a camera in Godot. So let's go to our bottom monitor right here. And we want to create a new project in our fail time repo. Our repo where we're just trying to figure out different things, attempt them, and make projects from complete scratch as we do it. I'm going to go right click and I'm going to go new folder. I'm going to say AJC002. AJC stands for attempt just camera number 2. So we're going to put our new project into this folder right here in my S drive, fake R drive, git repos, Godot fail time repo, attempt just camera project number 2. Now my executable for Godot is on my portable drive inside of my exe folder. So S drive, R drive, exes, Godot, the regular version, not the C# version, because I don't want to install the .NET. I do not want to install the .NET framework on my machine. I absolutely hate how many redistributable runtimes you can end up with when you try to use the .NET framework. So I like my stuff working out of the box. I don't like to... It just annoys me. Let's move on. Okay, so right here is Godot. It just started up. We have new, we have import, we have scan. Let's go hit new here. And it says new game project. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to name this project name underscore AJC002. And I'm going to name it with project name inside the actual project name so that when I see AJC002 connected to project name, I know where that token is coming from. Now we need to go browse for our project. So we know that we're in the S drive. So we have to go to the S drive here. Then we got to go R. And then we have to go git, and then we have to go Godot fail time. That should get us close to where we need to be. Then we need to go to AJC2 because attempt just camera video attempt number 2. And we're going to select the current folder here. And now we see that the path is correct. SR git repos Godot fail time AJC002. Project name also has AJC002 in it. That looks good to me. We are not going to use any version control here because this is a repo that would make it like a repo inside of a repo, I think. I don't want to do that. So we're going to say that we don't have any version control. We're going to manage our version control by ourselves, right? I don't like it when your IDE gets all up in your fucking version control. I don't find that as a good thing. We're going to go for mobile because we want to eventually make a mobile game. We're going to go create and edit. Okay. So now that we start up a new project, Godot restarts. And when it restarts on whatever your main monitor is. My main monitor is my top monitor, so if you're wondering why you can't see anything right now, it's because it's booting up on my main monitor, so I have to drag it back down, which is kind of annoying. Now, the reason that I try to record things on this monitor, which is not my main monitor, is so an annoying-ass bash scripts or executables pop up. They don't pop up where we're trying to record, right? Okay, so now that we're here, I know that we want a 2D scene. So we have these 2D, 3D script asset lib right up at the top of the screen, right? Right beneath this the tabs, right? We have 2D, 3D script asset lib, 2D, 3D script asset lib. We're gonna go hit 2D right here, right? See where my mouse is right there? We're gonna hit that. Then we're gonna wander over from here. We're gonna wander all the way over to this little 2D scene node. We're gonna click 2D scene. And now we have a node 2D. I'm gonna rename this node 2D to N2D for node 2D. And I'm gonna just call it node 2D world. And then what we wanna do is we wanna add some type of information that is gonna tell us, like when we move the camera, we want some type of feedback that tells us the camera is moving, right? So we need some type of background. And we're going to achieve that background in a really hackish way. We're just going to throw a big-ass sprite of clouds into the background. Now, we did that in the previous project, so why don't we go into the previous project, and we have this assets folder that already has, like, the clouds and this falling little Dan guy. Why don't we just go grab the goose, grab these two different versions of Dan. Do we really want to grab both of them? Actually, let's not grab Dan, because I guess GIFs don't actually work, and so we're not going to be able to use GIFs. So Josh is going to need to give me a frame-by-frame sprite sheet version of Dan here, because that's not going to work for me. And let's go grab our clouds, and grab our goose. Let's go copy that. Let's go back into AJC002, and we're going to go new folder. We're going to say ASS for assets. We're going to double click that. We're going to hit paste those two images in. And now that we have those assets inside of our assets folder, we can see it actually pop up here, right, in our little file. We got our file system explorer here, and we can see assets right here. So res for resources, / whatever. The resources folder is just I think it's like a symbolic drive that makes it so that, like, if we move around this AJC002 file, if we move around AJC002 folder, right, it doesn't break any linkage because of the way Godot kind of, like, sets up the paths, right? All the paths are kind of relative to the current folder we're in, right? So resources, assets, this stuff is what we are seeing here. Resources, assets, and then this stuff right here. So next thing I want to do is right here on the Node.2D world right up here in our little scene explorer up here, right? So we got import, we got scene, we got import, we got scene right up here, right here. Make sure this tab is selected. And right here we have this Node.2D world. I'm going to go right click on that, and we're going to go add child node, and we want to add a sprite. So in this little dialog box right here that's popped up, inside of the search, I'm going to search for sprite. And when I type sprite, I see sprite 2D pops up right down here. You see sprite 2D right there underneath the node, right? Node 2D, sprite 2D against animated sprite. Let's go click that. Let's go hit create right here. See create, make sure this is highlighted. Make sure that's highlighted. Hit create. Okay, hit create. Okay, we got sprite 2D. I'm gonna go on this sprite right here that's parented underneath Node 2D world here, right? It's parented. If we collapse the parent tree, you can see how the sprite kind of disappears right there. See that? Click, 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 click. All right, so we're going to right-click on this sprite 2D here. And I got a lot of options, but the option I want is rename. God damn it. I guess I didn't click on the right thing. Right-click again, rename. God fucking damn it. What the fucking hell, man? Okay, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit escape. I'm gonna try not to lose our goddamn shit. So the UI is somewhat unintuitive, where, like, clicking and double-clicking, it's a little bit inconsistent, I've noticed, with, like, when do you need to click, when do you need to double-click. The answer might surprise you. Let's go rename. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to call this S2D for Sprite 2D, and I'm just going to call it Sprite 2D Clouds. Now that we have this renamed, I'm going to keep it selected here. And we should see, if we go wander all the way around to the other side of the screen, right? Let's go wander on over to the other side of the screen over here. We see this little sprite dialog here, this little menu item here in our inspector, right? So we got inspector, we got node, we got history, right? Inspector, node, history, inspector, node, history, right? We're going to go make sure the inspector tab is clicked here, right? And then make sure that S2D clouds over here is clicked. So on the left side of our monitor, make sure that's clicked. And then over here, we want to make sure that inspector is here. And now right here, texture. See this thing that says texture? Let's go click that. And we have a whole bunch of fucking options that are really fucking distracting. It's like, you don't have to do any of this shit, right? Like this confused the fuck out of me. Like, oh god, I just want to put a goddamn image in it. Oh, well, we can just use quick load for that. Or load. I don't know what the difference between load and quick load is. Let's try load. Okay, assets. Okay, and then we can select it here. I'm going to go hit cancel because I'm just curious as to what quick load is. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to go back to this little dialog, drop down, all this annoying stuff. What's load? Oh, we already did load. Let's do quick load. Quick load. Okay, so quick load and load, the dialog is slightly different, right? Because we're already in our assets folder. It just already knew. That's... Oh, I see. It doesn't... Okay, I get the difference. I get the difference. We got a dialog, and it just kind of searched for all of the PNG files and the SVG files, I guess. Okay, sure, whatever. Okay, let's hit open. Right here. We're going to hit open in this resources dialog right here. We're going to hit open. Okay. So now we got this clouds background. I can use the middle mouse wheel to kind of zoom in and out. I don't really like where the origin is, but you know what? I'm not going to fucking worry about that this time. We're going to go... We need to save everything. Now, I believe... You see how there's this little star right here in the upper left-hand corner? If we go Control-Alt-Shift-S, that doesn't fucking fix it for us. That annoys the fuck out of me. It's like... It's unsaved, And if we look at this, Control Shift Alt S should be save all scenes. Okay, how about Control S? Can we do Control S? Okay, that works. And we have to save it somewhere. Now, when you do this, if you use the abbreviation that I use, I don't know why the fuck Godot does this, but notice that my file name right here does not match the convention, right? The convention is supposed to be that, like, that the file matches the node, but maybe it's because I named the node all capital, and so it doesn't know what the fuck to do. But you know what? I'm gonna name this the same exact name, but it's gonna be lowercase. I'm gonna go n2d _world.tscn. Sure, save that. Okay, so now we should be able to run this, and we're just going to get, like, little background. So I'm going to go, okay, so we could select current here, so I just hit play up here, right? I hit this play button up here, right? And now this dialog is popping up, and it's like, no main scene has ever been defined. Select one, you can change it later in the project settings, under the application category. I'm going to hit cancel, because I don't want to be somebody who just goes with the default. Like, that's helpful, but let's actually learn how to do that, right? So if we go in scene... Actually, not scene, sorry. Project settings, right? So project settings up here on the top right here. If we go into project settings, I'm going to click project settings right here. And we got some things on the top. And I forget where it is. Something about scene, right? Let's hit the general tab and just look for... we got configuration, we got run. Oh, there we go. So, general, application, run. And then right here we see main scene when we have run here highlighted underneath application within the general tab, right? Because we got these different tabs, right? We got all these different tabs at the top, but we want the general tab. And then we want this application, right? Application, we got to make sure that application is expanded. And then hit run right down here. Actually, I guess we don't have to select run, do we? Oh, no, we do. Right, we do. Yeah. Run has to be selected. Okay, so let's go right here. We're going to open up this folder here. And the main scene is going to be node2d world.tscn. TSCN stands for text scene. So T for text, and then SCN stands for scene. And I always want to call it a TypeScript scene, but no, that's not what it is. It's just a text scene node. There's also a binary scene node and an exported scene node according to the documentation. So we're going to click this, and then down here we're going to hit open. And then now we see that path right here to that. We're going to hit close. And now, if we go over here to the top right here where there's this little play button, if we hit play now, we should actually see it boot up. God damn it, I didn't set my fucking timer. Let's start the timer now. I want at least an hour's worth of honest effort, so we forgot to set the timer, so all the 13 minutes we already did doesn't count towards our fucking time. Alright, so now, we want to move around the camera, right? We got some crappy looking background here. Let's move around the camera, right? So, first thing is, we're going to need a camera, right? So, we know we want it to be a parent of this world, so let's click on world right here. Alright, so clicking on world. And right-click, add child node right here. Okay, and we're going to search right in this dialog box for camera 2D. Camera 2D. We type camera 2D, we see we have this match right down here that's camera 2D that inherits from node 2D, and node 2D inherits from node. I don't know why canvas item is kind of like grayed out. I don't know if that's... I don't know what that's about. Like, does node 2D not inherit from canvas item? Or why is that? I don't understand. Let's not worry about it. Let's just hit create after we have camera 2D highlighted. And now that we have camera 2D highlighted, I'm going to rename this. So right here, camera 2D, right? I'm going to click that. I'm going to rename it. And I'm going to call it C2D for camera 2D. And I'm just going to call it camera 2D camera, right? A little redundant, but that's the way I'm going to do it. Now, we need some type of script that's going to control the camera, right? So in order to control the camera, I'm going to put a script onto the world. I'm going to right-click on this world node, and I'm going to find something for attaching a script. So yeah, we see attach script right here, right? So I'm going to do that again before we click it, right? So Node.js world, right-click, and then in our little menu here, we have attach script. So let's go click that. Okay, so now we see Node.js world.gd for Godot script, and it inherits Node.js create. Okay. Okay, so now that we have this little script right here, what we want to do is, when we are in the process event, we want to look at the input object and change the position of the camera based on what inputs we have, right? So I want some type of direction node that can be modified over and over again. Oh, well, there's a lot of different ways we could do this, couldn't we? Okay, well, you know what? I want the camera to move based on if we're holding down an arrow key, right? So what we can do here is we know there's some type of input object, right? And we want to look for action press. I'm not sure what the difference between action press and is action press. Oh, action press emulates. Got ya. Is action pressed. We don't want just pressed because we don't want it punchy. We want it to be like if I hold down the arrow key. If I hold down the arrow key, is action just pressed is only going to be called once, but is action pressed should be called multiple times. Okay, well, not called, but it should evaluate to true multiple times, right? So, and then we have UI left. Okay. Now, this should return a Boolean, and we're going to make a direction vector. So I'm going to say direction dot x plus equals actually no, minus equals because left is yeah. And then let's duplicate this. So I think it's like what did I do wrong here? Direction, oh yeah, direction's not declared yet. So let's go var direction vector2 equals vector2 0, 0, right? Create a new direction vector right here. And then Control Alt Shift S to hopefully get rid of some of these. No! Invalid operations, float and bool. Oh, yeah. So we need to convert that to an integer. We need an integer cast on this. Right? Okay. Then, we can't go Control D, but I think it's Control Shift D for duplicate. Control Shift D. And we can do that 4 times. I'm going to add some extra space here. And then this is going to be the y-axis. This will be the x-axis. And we want to move left and right on the x. We want to move top and bottom on the y. We have UI left. We got UI right. We got UI top, I think, or UI up. UI up, okay. And then we have UI down, right? UI down? Yes? Okay. So, now, we should have some type of direction vector that we can modify. Now, I want direction to actually start out zeroed out. So at the beginning of here, I'm going to say direction.x equals 0, and direction y equals 0. And then can I not space things out? Can I not give a space here between these? Oh, no semicolons. This is not JavaScript. Invalid. Floats and bool assignment operator. Come on. Let's clear that. Use space for indentation instead of tab. Am I just gonna get fucking annoyed here? Python, you fucking suck. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now that we have this, the next thing we want to do is we want to move the camera, and we're going to move the camera by manipulating the camera's offset. So, get tree. I'm not sure how to actually do this. We need to use the get tree command somehow to get the node that we're concerned with. And I don't know exactly how that works. So we're going to go find... Uh-huh. Where the fuck is it? Okay, so I'm not sure exactly how it works, but so we can look at the documentation for that, or we could guess around. Can we do camera 2D camera? I don't think that's gonna work. Maybe, but I'm not sure. So we know that the type is a camera 2D, right? So we could say var camera 2D. Actually, no, var cam type camera 2D equals that, right? I don't know if that's gonna work. I am skeptical. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? So let's go play that and see if it crashes on us. Invalid index. C2D camera on... Okay, so this is wrong. Okay, that's wrong. And then the question is, how do we do it, right? I think we might... I don't know. I don't fucking know. So why don't we go look at the documentation, right? So let's go get tree Godot, right? How does that work, right? Using the scene tree. Okay, scene tree. Root viewport. So this is the root viewport, huh? Never created by the user. Okay, scene tree. Okay, most node operations in Godot, such as drawing, 2D processing, or getting notifications, are done in tree order, or top to bottom as seen in the editor. Also known as pre-order traversal, right? Okay, so things at the head are executing before things at the tail. Okay. That's actually how I write my engine code. Okay, so the ready function works backwards. The children needs to be initialized before the parent is initialized. That actually makes sense. Post-order traversal. Okay, so there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. And maybe we should read about this next study session, right? So I'm going to say study session 6 reading. And we'll read more about this in more detail. Changing the current scene. Okay. But how do we get a node? How do we get a node, though? Okay. So you can go getTree.getRoot.find node by name. So that's one way. So we could say get node without knowing where it is. I feel like there's a better way to do that. If you want to get a node from a singleton, you first var map equals load dot instance. Then you have it. Map is your node. Uh-huh. I assume you didn't read Getting Started Step-by-Step Scenes and Nodes, which covers every aspect of your question. So this is not a node, it's a pack scene. The screenshot you showed is your file system, which contains a bunch of resources which haven't been added to your scene. Scene tree. Scene tree is where the actual game happens in real time. So it looks like we want to use get node. Now I already have another project where we're already doing this. So the question is, can we find the other code we already wrote and see how it was done in the previous project, right? So here is our previous project, and there's a Godot script here, node2dworld.godot script. Why don't we go double click that and see how we got the node last time, right? Okay. So I see that last time we added it as a onReady member variable of our node. So we could let's close this. I don't know why that's still fucking open. Close the program. I don't know why you're fucking crashing on me. Okay. So we could have done something like this, right? But we're not doing it exactly like this, but this is what we want right here. We want this part here, copy. So not get tree, but just get node, huh? So get tree was not related to what I wanted to do at all, huh? So let's take that, and I'm going to put that in my notes. So in my notes, how to use get tree. I don't know. And I'm going to make a little entry called get camera node example. I'm going to put that snippet of code in my notes. Okay, so that should get us our camera. And we should have some IntelliSense now because we did all this kind of bullshit here. So I should be able to type cam.offset, not offset? Oh, .x equals, plus equal direction.x, right? And okay, let's try that. So no normalization or anything. I just want to get a camera that moves when we use the arrow keys, right? Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. Offset on base null instance. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. So maybe this isn't the right way to do it, right? Because we don't know if the camera's ready yet. Null instance. C2D. Oh, I called it C2D main. And oh, I named it slightly different in the previous project. Camera 2D main for the main camera. Camera 2D camera. I think the last name that I used was actually a better name, but whatever. Okay, let's go Control-Alt-Shift-S. Let's clear the, this is kind of annoying, these errors and stuff. Can I just clear, where the fuck? This, we got like a goddamn inspector open. Oh, because I don't fucking understand. So when it crashes, it doesn't just crash, it like pauses, which is kind of annoying. Can we clear the console now? Can we run this again? All right, let's run this again. Okay, so we got our clouds. Now can I use the arrow keys? Okay, so now I can use the arrow keys to move around. All right, cool. So that's all I want to do. That's all I wanted to do. We can go diagonal. Diagonal works. It'll go a little bit faster diagonal than it goes up and down, just because we need to normalize our vectors. But I'm okay with this. This is good enough. Good enough. It's good enough. That's exactly what I wanted to accomplish, right? So we've accomplished the thing we wanted to do. And let's go Control-Alt-Shift-S to save everything. And let's close this. And now what we want to do is we want to go into the root folder of our repo here. We want to go right-click. We want to go git bash here. And we want to go git add dot. And we're going to go git commit dash m camera attempt 002 looking good, right? Okay. Git push git SSH master. We're gonna go push this up to GitHub. Clear git remote dash v. All right. Okay. So now that we have that, the next thing we want to do is, I think that the next thing we want to do is just attempt just a, we have attempt just camera, we have attempt parallax background. I think the next thing we want to attempt is just a sprite, right? Can we get like just a sprite moving around and controlling it with our arrow keys? So we've already been recording for 35 minutes, but you know what? We already got the thing done, right? We got the thing done. It's done. We made just a camera in Godot, and we moved it with our mouse keys. We're done here. We're done here. I'm gonna try to attempt just a sprite in the next fail time series, which I guess I will start that nowish. I guess, yeah.